Mother, said he, while the great face smiled on him, I wish that it could speak, for it looks so very kindly that its voice must indeed be pleasant. If I ever see a man with such a face, I should love him very much. If an old prophecy should come to pass, answered his mother, we may see a man sometime with exactly such a face as that. What prophecy do you mean, dear mother? Eagerly inquired Ernest. Please tell me about it. So his mother told him a story that her own mother had told her when she herself was younger than little Ernest, that at some future day a child should be born near her who was destined to become the greatest and noblest person of his time, and whose face in manhood should bear an exact resemblance to the great stone face. Many still had faith in this old prophecy, but others took it to be nothing but idle talk. At all events, others look it at all events, the great man of the prophecy had not yet appeared. "Oh, mother," cried Ernest, clapping his hands above his head, "I do hope that I shall live to see him." His mother was an affectionate and thoughtful woman. It was proper, she thought, not to discourage the fanciful hopes of her little boy. So she said to him, "Perhaps you may." Ernest was having the curiosity, and he also used to see the stone face, and that he told his mother that one day if he will find that man who will have the resemblance of the great stone face, he would like to talk to him, because this stone face used to teach him such kindness. This stone face looks so kind. Then his mother told that if the prophecy will come true, he will be able to meet that man. So he asked what is the prophecy. Then she replied that they have the belief that one day a man will come or born near her who will be destined to become the greatest and noblest person of his time, and whose face in manhood should bear an exact resemblance to the great stone face. Many people still believe in that old prophecy, but some of them take it as an idle talk. And Ernest was very happy that he wanted to meet this kind of person who will have the resemblance of the great stone face. And Ernest never forgot the story that his mother told him. It was always in his mind whenever he looked upon the great stone face. He spent his childhood in the log cottage where he was born, was dutiful to his mother and helpful to her in many things, assisting her much with his little hands and more with his loving heart. In this manner, from a happy yet often a pensive child, he grew up to be a mild and quiet youth. Ernest had no teacher, but the great stone face became one to him. When the work of the day was over, he would gaze at it for hours, until he began to imagine that those vast features recognized him and gave him a smile of kindness and encouragement. So Ernest grew up with his mother, and he was a very good child. He used to help his mother in all the work, and he loved to watch the great stone face. After the hard work of every day, he used to sit on the front door of his cottage and used to watch the great stone face. Like this, the time passed, and now he is a young man. About this time, there went a rumor throughout the valley that the great man who was to bear a resemblance to the great stone face had appeared at last. It seemed that many years before, a young man had left the valley and settled at a distant seaport. Gathergold, which was his name, had set up as a shopkeeper, and being sharp in business matters, had become so very rich that it would have taken him 100 years only to count his wealth. In time, he thought of his native valley and decided to go back there and end his days where he had been born. Ernest had been deeply stirred by the idea that the great man, the noble man, the man of prophecy, after so many ages of delay, was at length to be seen in his native valley. While the boy was still gazing up the valley one day and imagining that the grey stone face returned his gaze, the noise of wheels was heard, and a crowd of people cried, "Here comes the great Mr. Gathergold." A carriage drawn by 4 horses dashed round the turn of the road. Within it, thrust partly out of the window, appeared the face of an old man with yellow skin. "The very image of the great stone face," shouted the people. "Sure enough, the old prophecy is true. Here we have the great man at last." And what greatly puzzled Ernest, they seemed actually to believe that here was the likeness which they spoke of. He turned away sadly from the wrinkled shrewdness of that unpleasant face and gazed up the valley, where the stone face seemed to say, "He will come. Fear not, Ernest, the man will come." So now, as I told, that Ernest is a young man, and during his young age, he just heard a rumor that one person whose name was Mr. Gathergold, who born there only in that valley, but for business matters, uh, for the wealth, you can say for earning the wealth, he left that valley and went to city, opened the shop, become a very successful businessman, but now and has earned much of wealth. But now he is old and he wanted to return to his native place. So when he was about to return, there was a rumor that he was having the resemblance of the great stone face. On the day of his return, there was much crowd to see him. And when he got down from the carriage, the crowd has shouted that yes, here comes the Mr. Gathergold who is having the resemblance of the great stone face. But Ernest was disappointed because he hasn't seen any likeness between both of them. He was not able to see that kindness, that humbleness on the face of Mr. Gathergold which he used to see on that great stone face. The years went on, and Ernest grew to be a young man. He attracted little notice from the inhabitants of the valley. They saw nothing remarkable in his way of life except that, when the labor of the day was over, he still loved to gaze upon the great stone face. Their idea was that it was a folly, but pardonable because Ernest was industrious, kind, and neighborly. They did not know that the great stone face had become a teacher to him, and that the sentiment which was expressed in it would enlarge the young man's heart and fill it with deeper sympathies than other hearts. They did not know that from this would come a better wisdom than could be learned from books. Neither did Ernest know that the thoughts which came to him so naturally in the fields and at the fireside were of a higher tone than those which all men shared with him. A simple soul, simple as when his mother first told him the old story. He beheld the marvelous face looking down the valley, and still wondered why its human likeness was so long in coming. So Ernest was growing, and there was not much remarkable things about him. He was a very simple soul, but he was very kind, very neighborly, and has a very good character. By this time, poor Mr. Gathergold was dead and buried his wealth. His wealth, which was the body and spirit of his existence, had disappeared before his death. Since the melting away of his gold, it had been generally agreed that there was no great likeness after all between the ruined merchant and the majestic face upon the mountain. So by this time, what happened? Mr. Gathergold dead, and he was buried, and because now he was not before his death, he was not having enough wealth with him, so his popularity, it is now he is not so popular like the great stone face. Those people who were very excited to see Mr. Gathergold and telling him that he is the only resemblance of the great stone face, now they haven't given much importance to Mr. Gathergold, as his wealth is now not with him. So everything about Mr. Gathergold and his resemblance was faded away. It so happened that another son of the valley had become a soldier many years before. After a great deal of hard fighting, he was now a famous commander. He was known on the battlefield by the name of Blood and Thunder. Old and tired now, he had lately expressed a desire to return to his native valley. The inhabitants, his old neighbors, and their grown up children prepared to welcome the renowned commander. It was being said that at last the likeness of the great stone face had actually appeared. Great, therefore, was the excitement throughout the valley, and many people who had never once thought of glancing at the great stone face now spent much time in gazing at it, for the sake of knowing exactly how General Blood and Thunder looked. On the day of the general's arrival, Ernest and all the other people of the valley left their work and proceeded to the spot where a great banquet had been prepared. Soldiers stood on guard, flags waved, and the crowd roared. Ernest was standing too far back to see Blood and Thunder's face. However, he could hear several voices. It's the same face exactly, cried one man, dancing for joy. Wonderfully liked, that's a fact, replied another. And why not? Cried a third. He is the greatest man of this or any other age, beyond a doubt. Ernest at last could see the general's face, and in the same glance to the side, he could also see the great stone face. If there was such a likeness as the crowd proclaimed, Ernest could not recognize it. Fear not, Ernest, said his heart, as if the great stone face was whispering to him. Fear not, Ernest, he will come. So, after Mr. Gathergold's death, again, one more time, there was a rumor that another son of the valley, who became a soldier, is now coming back, and he is having the resemblance of the great stone face. His name was General Blood and Thunder. He has got this name just because he was very brave on the battlefield. But now he is old and tired, so he is returning back to the valley. And on his arrival, people left their work and the crowd gathered to see Mr. General Blood and Thunder, as it has been said that he was having the resemblance of the great stone face. And when he just came, a banquet hall was there, means all the preparations have been done for his welcome. Flags were waving, soldiers were on guard, and when he arrived, people shouted that yes, this is the person who is having the resemblance of the great stone face. Ernest also saw that. Ernest also saw Mr. General Blood and Thunder, but he hasn't found any of the resemblance of this person with the great stone face. Now again he felt disappointed. But somewhere in his heart, someone is telling to him, fear not, Ernest, the man will come. So still his heart was having the hope that the man who will exactly have the resemblance of the great stone face will come one day. So this is part 1. Okay, I hope you all have understood. The conclusion of the story will be in part 2, which we will discuss in the next video. Till then, thank you everyone.